Hello everybody, welcome back to fabulous, beautiful, scenic Las Vegas, Nevada. It's the Sometimes Vlog. It's a vlog that happens sometime. Hi everybody, welcome back to Las Vegas, Nevada. We are north of downtown. Fremont Street would be just over there where we did the vlog yesterday and saw all kinds of weird things like a murdery Minnie Mouse and a crazy dirty SpongeBob and a guy riding a scooter down Las Vegas Boulevard, which leads down to the Strip. Beyond that, the stratosphere down there, it's all back up. We don't have time to explain exactly where we are. Let's just say we're north of all the crazy touristy stuff in Las Vegas and in an area called the Cultural Corridor, which is along northern Las Vegas Boulevard beyond the freeway from downtown. And it doesn't really look like much, does it? Right now, this area is a little bit run down. We've got some abandoned properties here. Look inside of here. We've got this lobby, which somebody figured out how to go inside, and oh boy, there's a Santa in there who's seen some better days. But as I can't talk, I'm so excited. Although this interesting derelict Santa and his home with the CD player back there are very interesting things, and hey, if we were out in the middle of nowhere looking at this, I'd probably talk about this for 25 minutes. Knowing me, this is not what we're here for. Instead, we're here to find out something about this giant silver slipper on a pole. I wonder what kind of Cinderella is gonna put her foot in that. Let me tell you what kind. A big kind. Look at this giant slipper over here. This is an old neon sign for a business called the Silver Slipper, a dancing themed casino type thing, old piece of Las Vegas history. And if you're wondering what the heck is a giant old sign doing on a pole, you might want to take a look at this. Ooh, not this guy. He's just minding his own business. Don't look at him. Look at this. This right here, guys, is the Neon Museum of Las Vegas, just north of the old Strip and a ways, 4 miles or so north of the Strip with, you know, all the Caesars and the Wynn and all the crazy fancy stuff. Right there is this, the Neon Museum of Las Vegas. Now, the entire time I've been in Vegas, people are like, please, Justin, you gotta go to the Neon Museum. Justin, you gotta go to the Neon Museum. It's so cool, it's amazing. And of course, I've always wanted to see the old Neon Boneyard. You know, Chevy Chase's, what is it? The Vegas Vacation, where they're running around the boneyard, and also Mars Attacks, a Tim Burton movie, which, man, a lot of that was set in Vegas. Mars Attacks was a great movie. I just remembered Mars Attacks for like the first time in years. Okay, I don't want to get distracted by the beautiful Mars Attacks memories. Look at this. Right here, what you have is the lobby of the Neon Museum, which used to be the lobby of a very cool mid-century modern Googie-inspired building called the La Concha Motel, one of those little budget motels of the 1950s, a piece of Las Vegas history. I cannot remember the architect's name, Paul something, but the architect who built this was also the same architect who worked on the theme building in LAX, the thing that looks like a UFO there, that big famous building in the middle that looks like a piece of architecture straight out of the Jetsons. He also worked on this, one of the very first really prominent African-American architects, and the style is called Googie. It's the seashell style of Googie architecture, which is a little subgenre. I know I'm throwing a lot of information at you. A little subgenre of mid-century modern. It's very 1950s futuristic, and I love stuff like that. The stratosphere is also kind of a piece of that design as well. That whole old Las Vegas had a lot of it. The Stardust looking stuff, the angular stuff, Tomorrowland in the 50s, that was all kind of Googie inspired architecture, and this piece is an important piece. But it's just the lobby of that big neon boneyard that we always see on the things. Well, that neon boneyard was actually the maintenance yard, the boneyard, the scrap yard of a company called the Young Electric Sign Company, or YESCO for short. And YESCO had this big yard where all those big signs that they would build for like Vegas casinos. They also built the El Capitan sign, I think, and a bunch of the big ones in New York. A lot of the big electric signs, they're based in Salt Lake City, I believe. Anyway, the Young Electric Sign Company, I think is what their name is. YESCO had a big boneyard out here in Vegas where all those big old casino signs, when they were done with them, they'd take them down, they'd take them to that boneyard, they'd leave them out there and salvage parts off of them, get old pieces of rusty metal and weld them together into something new and creative. Well, they were just sitting there rotting in the desert, and for years and years, other than being a filming location, they were pretty much doing nothing. But in 1996, a couple of different councils in the city of Las Vegas got together and decided we need to do something about this, and founded the Neon Museum of Las Vegas, or whatever society founded the Neon Museum. Some of these things, these museums are like, oh, this society donated this, who partnered with this society, and it's very hard to keep them all straight together. But a bunch bunch of the good people of Las Vegas got together to preserve all that Vegas history in terms of those giant neon signs. Now, there's a little bit of disappointing information. This here is the lobby, which leads to this fenced off area back here, which is the Neon Museum of Las Vegas, Nevada. And you have to buy a ticket to go on the tour. I did purchase a $20 ticket to go on the tour of the Neon Museum of Las Vegas, and boy was that tour phenomenal. Unfortunately, there is absolutely no commercial photography or any video or audio recording allowed whatsoever inside of the Neon Museum of Las Vegas, which precludes any vlogging from inside. You guys like that? Pretty awesome, right? It's radical in there, and all I wanted to do was show it to you. So of course I took 1 billion non-commercial personal use photos. But let's take a peek right here. I don't know how much trouble we're gonna get in for vlogging even on the doorstep. They are very, very strict about this whole no videotaping thing. Even if you turn your camera and it looks like you're panning across or doing any kind of filming at all, they have little security personnel and they're like, don't film. The reason, before you get all cranky and angry, you can see back there, you can see some of the neon signs. The reason for that is because, oh, and this silver slipper, that's theirs too. I don't know if I mentioned that. The reason for that is because they use this for wedding photos and commercial photo shoots, and that's what's able to help them fund the restoration of all these crazy huge neon signs and stuff like that. They have to have weddings back here, and they charge people to film and do stuff. Well, I have no idea how much that's going to cost or how long that would take. I'm only in Vegas for a couple of more days. We can count down the hours, so pretty much we're not going to be able to do that. Oh, I can see the little security lady inside eyeballing me like, sir, what you doing? Over there you can see the Desert Inn sign. Here you see the old Sahara sign over there. These are very large, very massive, very neon signs. Millions and millions of light bulbs in there, broken glass. They can't just let people wander all over them. They're rotting, they're hulking, they're falling apart, they're rusting, and some of them are scheduled for restoration and being lovingly restored, and so they don't want people climbing all over them, poking holes in them, or apparently sticking cameras inside of them and ruining the wonderful historic Las Vegas signs. But it is pretty much just like in the movies, although it was moved here, I think only in the last 10 years or so has this museum actually opened here, where they were able to move the stuff to the property. And then they moved this here, I know, sometime in the 2000s, because I don't think this business closed until the year 2000, 2001 or something like that. And I think they might have moved it as late as 2008. I can't remember all the dates. There was a lot of information here. So, okay, we're gonna have to compromise here, because I know you want to see all the crazy, wild neon signs inside of that place. And right across the street, by the way, is this, which is the Neon Boneyard Park, a public park for the city of Las Vegas, because the city of Las Vegas owns this land. And there's a little bit of information about the neon over here. So even if you don't have time to get a ticket or go on the tour, because it's an hour long, you can come to the Neon Boneyard Park, read some of these signs here, and check out this sign over here, which is composed of little elements of other famous Las Vegas historic signs. For example, the yellow N up here is inspired by the Golden Nugget, the E from Caesar's Palace, the O from Binion's Horseshoe, and the N from the Desert Inn. Of course, this is the Welcome to Las Vegas sign, some Stardust elements right there. So a lot of history in this little park, where I've seen a lot of dogs pooping today. There are people yelling back there and taking photos, so I'm gonna get out of their photo way. Anyway, okay, so we're gonna have to compromise in this. I know you want to see this. I took umpteen billion personal photos, which I want to personally share on my personal Facebook page, which I hardly ever use. I don't have a regular profile, but I have a page, which is facebook.com/JustinScarlett. So I'll go put all those crazy pictures in an album there. Tons and tons of photos and pictures. You're allowed to take personal pictures galore, and there's a loophole in here for photos for social media. They're all about it. Oh, promote us on social media, but they just want to make sure that nothing even remotely close to video or audio or filming any kind of documentary type thing, anything like that, they want to reserve all the rights to. Now, one of the reasons they give in here is because the signs are still, a lot of the signs still represent active businesses, you know, like some of the casinos are still in business with these large signs that have their logos and stuff on it, which are copyrighted material, and they're like, we don't want to get in trouble with these people. We want to display their stuff and not have a problem. So that kind of makes sense. Plus, come on, they need the money from weddings. They have weddings in there and all kinds of different stuff to stay in business. So instead, we're going to walk past my Mustang in the parking lot here and just take a little sneaky peeky at this right over here. This is the boneyard of the Neon Museum. So the Neon Museum has its own boneyard in a back parking lot, which I think you can also pay to tour and get a photo shoot of. Let me show you the back of the museum. So you come down over here, Las Vegas Boulevard, north of the Strip, past Old Town, the old downtown, go right under the freeway, and right on your right hand side is this. So you can see here, it's very difficult to see actually because the sun is in your way. Come on, sun, get out of here, sun. We don't need you to warm our planet. You can see right here, it's a 2-acre property. So that entire white fence right there encompasses the very back of the Neon Museum. We'll walk over there in a second and see if we can see anything. But here is their boneyard. The Neon Museum over there basically has all those giant signs. Yeah, we hear ya, calm down. Has all those signs backed up against different walls and pathways set up between them. And their boneyard over here is just packed, with all the leftover signage that apparently they could not fit over there. So you can see these massive walls here, which are much taller than my 6-foot tall height. And some of these giant letters are still poking way, way above them. It's crazy when you see those big neon signs. You don't really realize how tall they are until you get right up next to them. Anyway, my review of the museum is as follows. I was super disappointed at first, and I didn't want to do any kind of vlog, and I was just kind of disgruntled, like, man, I can't film in here. I don't know what the point of this is. Maybe I'll just move along with my day, but I'd already bought the $20 ticket, $18 I think actually, to be fair, and I was like, all right, I'll go on the tour. I want to see it for myself anyways. At least I can get some photos, stuff like that. Snapchat, Instagram, both usernames are LiveFastDiePoor, by the way. And I got in there kind of like, okay, and I'll stay with the group, that whole kind of thing, because they want to keep everybody together so nobody touches anything or breaks anything. And I actually was pleasantly surprised. Not only was the tour really, really cool and the stuff in there really, really cool, because it looks kind of small from the outside, but I actually learned a lot. There's a lot of Las Vegas history and a lot of information packed into the tour. And of course, there's giant, formerly lit up neon visual aids, so it really does help. All right, right here is the North Gallery, as it said, their boneyard here at the Neon Museum. You can see it's protected by this huge fence. It's very difficult to see through, but luckily there's a squeezy hole here, and we can squeezy hole our arm in through the fence, and you can get an idea of how massive. See, there's another sign right there. Do not touch anything. Please do not film anything. So we're kind of breaking the rules, but I'm only breaking the rules a little to give you just a little, and hey, it's social media, right? To give you a little taste-a-roo of what you get. So this is basically their back version, their extra version. I know that's just a split second of looking. Okay, let me give you a longer look. It's just the one view, the one sort of public, accidental public view. You know how this works. It's the one little squeezy, just my arm. Basically it's like that. So you wander all these paths and you have a guide. Our guide was super, super good. And they give you all this different information about Las Vegas history. So some of the very first casinos, what year, how gambling was only legalized in 1931. So Las Vegas, even though it was a nice water stop, kind of halfway between Salt Lake City and Los Angeles, and it was like a stop on the railroad and all that stuff. The whole crazy Sin City element of Las Vegas didn't really start until the 1930s because gambling wasn't legalized until 1931. Crazy. So you learn that, you learn all the history of the different people who operated casinos, Binions and where that comes from, Howard Hughes and how he bought up a bunch of Vegas, Steve Wynn and how he bought up a bunch of Vegas. You learn all these different things. You learn about different kinds of businesses, what kind of advertising they are, different designers of the signs, and it actually turned out to be pretty darn interesting. When, to be honest with you, I really wasn't expecting it to be. I'm very into mid-century modern architecture. I'm very into mid-century modern design. I really, really like that old neon era signage and all that stuff. But I just wanted to look at it. I wasn't expecting a whole tour and a whole long conversation about it, and I certainly wasn't expecting that whole long conversation to be interesting. So here you go, the back gate of the Neon Museum. Now we can actually see inside of the place, as it were, just a bit, just a taste through this screen here from the public street. You can see the giant, massive, metallic letters of the old Vegas neon signs here. And like I said, I took umpteen billion pictures of them, but I was like, pictures, Pictures may be worth 1,000 words, but it doesn't give you a sense of the scale of it. So that's why this vlog, I know, it's just a perimeter vlog. It's a perimeter vlog, but it gives you a sense of scale as best I could for the pictures that we're gonna see. And of course we got sometimes dogs back here barking, "Hey you, you're not supposed to be getting around the rules." This is kind of a sneaky way of getting around the rules here. Look at this. Giant upside down horseshoe that used to be part of Binion's Horseshoe Casino, and you can see there's the guards out there leading someone to the restroom. Even to use the restroom, you got to have someone with you. They don't want anyone touching or touchying. That's a combination of touching and monkeying. They don't want anyone touching with their stuff and poking it and breaking it. You break it, you buy it, and it's expensive. How are you going to get that home? Think about that, mister. Anyway. This is just to give you a sense of the scale of the place as we walk through. Some of those signs are just massive, massive, massive. Here's a hotel over here. We got a 3-story motel back over there. And you can see, I don't know, it's very, very difficult to see. We're also backlit. This sign over here, this part of the old Stardust sign, is actually taller than that building. Here's the back of the Sahara sign. So anyways, a very, very frustrating situation here. It's very difficult to film, very difficult to show you any part of it. And they've done that on purpose to make sure that you come here, you buy a ticket, and you see it for yourself. Now, I personally, you gotta respect it. It's their rules and it's their collection. But I personally think a lot of museums have this problem where some of the people that run the museums are sort of stuck in the old-timey mentality that, like, well, if you film this, here, I'll give you a little shot of this through the fence, I know, but still, if you film our stuff and show it on the internet, nobody will want to come. If they see it on the internet, nobody will want to come. I cannot. For those of us who grew up with the internet, the first generation really to grow up with the internet, or to at least have it in the teenage years for it to really show up, and later, we know that that's exactly the opposite of the case. The more I see of a place, personally, the more documentaries I watch about a place, the more I see it on film, the more I see it on camera and pictures and Instagram, Snapchat, all this stuff, the more I want to go to it, the more I want to learn more about it and experience it for myself, because it sort of becomes legendary to me. So I kind of think they're making a mistake with that policy. But I understand that they want to keep it very exclusive and very private. Sorry about the wind, by the way. I cannot control the weather either. That's sort of been the running theme of this week in Las Vegas. Here you go. We're just a little farther back from that boneyard over here so you can still see some of the scale. And like I said, go over and see those pictures while we're talking on the vlog. Maybe throw this vlog in the background as you look at the photos. What was I going to say? Oh, that's been kind of the theme of Las Vegas. A little bit disappointing. A lot of the epic stuff that people are like, go film this epic thing. It'll be in a casino, and I start getting yelled at, sir, we don't want to allow any filming in the casinos. Or it'll be out here, and it'll be like, sir, we don't want to allow any filming at the museum. And it would be kind of easy to just give up and say, screw it. I'll post a picture on Instagram, maybe complain about it a lot. How dare they not let me film in there? Jerk face, arms, you jerk elbow guy. But come on, you gotta stay positive. You can't control the situation. You can't control whether or not we're allowed to film, but we can control our reaction to it. Walk around the perimeter of the Neon Museum. And of course, since I took 1 million personal use photos, even though this vlog wasn't allowed to be filmed inside the fence, I took 1 million photos in there, and I can show them to you in slideshow form after we're done talking. So anyway, that's been kind of the theme of Vegas. A little bit disappointing in that, oh man, we can't film and go run around and do the vlog in there, which would be really, really cool. But after going inside there and seeing how like unprotected the signs are, really, you have to stay with the tour group so they can make sure nobody touches anything or breaks anything. There's a tour every 30 minutes. It's not a very big space in terms of, you got these big groups of like 20, 30, 40 people like that. You're not going to have a lot of space in between for people to be running around on their own. There's no one to watch you. They don't know us. They don't trust us. So I can see the difficulty in even trying to arrange a private situation to go and film in, but so I kind of understand, but at the same time, it's a little bit of a letdown. All right, and now, without any further ado from me, make sure to go to Instagram, Live Fast Die Poor, Snapchat, Live Fast Die Poor, Facebook.com/Justin Scott. I'll post all these pictures there. But here is a little slideshow of my personal photos that I'm personally sharing with you. This isn't part of the vlog. I'm personally sharing my personal collection of personal photos that I personally took for my personal use with my personal friends. Photos from the Neon Museum of Las Vegas. I highly recommend you come here. It is totally worth it. Honestly, at the end of the day, disappointing for me because I like to do the vlogs for you guys, But it is completely 100% worth the ticket price. You do learn a lot. You get some pretty amazing snapshots in there and a couple of fun ones, a couple of fun pics. And it's totally worth it. So I'm sorry that this vlog had to be from the perimeter. It wasn't up to me. Those weren't my rules. Maybe someday we'll get an invitation to come film Random Land or something like that here. Anyway, I said without further ado and I lied. I apologize for that. But now without any more further ado, as long as you subscribe, check out the links below, livefastlivepoor.spreadshirt.com. Here's a slideshow. It's time for a slideshow. It's time for a slideshow. A slideshow so good, you will get your mind blown. I bought some jalapeno chips. I got a guitar on my hip. It's time to sing a little song about this slideshow. We had a tour guide. He kinda had a man bun. He showed us neon signs. I gotta say it was fun. There were other people there. Some of them had their hair. I was learning and I liked it kind of. I wish I could film, but I couldn't film. Someday I want to be able to film there. You know what else? I'm kinda hungry and I want a pet fish. Someday I don't have a pet fish. I kinda messed that up. I kinda messed that up. But I still want a pet fish, not a beta in a cup. Maybe a Dory or a cute little Nemo. What the heck am I singing about? It's time to end this slideshow. What the heck am I singing about? It's time to end this slideshow. What the heck am I singing about? It's time to end this slideshow. But you can see more pictures on Facebook.com/JustinScott and also Instagram, livefast.poor and Snapchat. Wow! Slideshow. Bye-bye now.